Hi, my name is Yolanda Lewis, and I've been a participant with SAFE since 2006. And I just want to briefly share with you about my experience with Miss Risker. She was a very nice lady, and I was shy. I didn't know a lot of people at the time, and Miss Risker made me feel very comfortable and very welcoming. And she talked with me, and she talked to me also about the importance of education. And now I'm about to start the occupational therapy program in August of this year. And she was a great impact with me on that, and she valued education. And I really miss her. She was a very nice person to work with, and she left a great impact on me.
Hi, my name is Monet, and I wanted to share some wonderful thoughts and experience that I had with, I called her Mom Betty, and she had a nickname for me. She would always call me her diva daughter. Mom Betty was the type of person that was always inspirational, empowering, and supportive. And despite anything I've been through, Mom was always that type of person that encouraged you and uplifted you. I met Mom Betty back in 2006 through Caitlin, who's like my god sister, wonderful, wonderful woman, with impeccable integrity. I've learned so much from Mom Betty and Caitlin through the years to become the woman I've become, despite some of the struggles I went through. Mom Betty's work with SAFE has been impeccable, has made such an awesome impact in my life as well as my family, which I have young daughters that Mom Betty looked at as her grandkids. And she was just a wonderful woman, and whatever I can do to continue her legacy, that woman deserves to remember for the great and awesome, wonderful things that she did for not only myself, but a host of women, and raising two wonderful daughters and granddaughters. I mean, this woman, I can go on and on about it. I just know that at the end of the day, she's gonna be truly missed, but I feel that through SAFE and through Caitlin's efforts, her legacy will live on through us all, because she's touched everyone in some way, shape, or form. And she was just truly a blessing. Again, I'm going to truly miss her, and I just want to continue to do whatever I can to help Caitlin and the family to continue her legacy and everything that she put forth and brought forth through SAFE to help women that have experienced any level of domestic violence to become the great women that God has called them to be, because Mom Betty was such a great woman of God.
I remember when me and my grandmother were making phone calls for SAFE, and she would always be like, she would always say, "Oh my gosh, you do such a great job with these phone calls. You are so great talking to them." And I'm just looking at her like, you're the example that I have. It was just funny how she looked at me like I was doing such a great job, when I would always look at her and I would look to her for what I should be doing. And I would pick up different things that she would say, and I would use that in my phone calls. And she was just really good at picking out people's strengths and just building on those strengths that people have. My name is Aryn. This is my sister Toni. My grandmother's passing was very detrimental to our family. It shook us all very hard. My younger sister still does not feel very comfortable speaking about it, but my grandma and my sister had a very, very tight bond, not just as a grandmother and a granddaughter, but also as two people working with SAFE. My grandma would work with Toni in getting the different booklets together, different pamphlets together. They were side by side working hard together to the wee hours of the morning. They both have a passion for SAFE, and my grandma was very instrumental in teaching me and my sister how to give back and just how to do it with the right heart and the right mind frame. So that's really something that I feel my sister, not just my sister, but really everyone can take away from my grandmother's legacy, is just becoming a selfless person and just giving back without expecting necessarily anything in return.
Well, Mother Betty was like a mother to me, number one. And when I thought of her, or when I seen her, it was always with her kids. She loved her kids. She loved her kids, her grandkids, her daughter. And when you saw SAFE, or you heard the word SAFE, I always thought of her, just as I would think of Caitlin and Caitlin's children. She was all about branding. And when you see SAFE, you would think of Mother Betty as well. And she was all about branding. I remember her coming to one of my events and was telling me, you know, she was giving me some great advice, and that's what she was known for, giving people great advice, especially Kaylin's friends. And Kaylin's friends, majority of us are entrepreneurs, and we're doing something to try to uplift the community. And she would always have words of wisdom and comfort. And she always told me, Sandy, just stick with what you're doing. You're doing a great thing. And always keep your branding in mind when you're going out into the public. It was a book signing I did. Now, I did another event and I didn't have on either something butterfly related, and that's why I have on my ring. Because she said, you always need to have on your brand. Your brand needs to be with you everywhere you go. So I try to remember to wear my bling or my brand, the butterfly, to keep my brand going. And that's what SAFE is all about. It's about helping uplift women, helping uplift the community. And it's also a brand that we all recognize in the community. That's all about building our community. And that's what Miss Betty is, she was all about. And she will truly be missed. Love her dearly. She was like an aunt to me that, you know, would always keep you in check. If she saw something wrong, she would check you in a nice way. And that's what I loved about her. And she would truly be missed.
When Betty and I first met, we lived on the same floor at River Towers. And we started talking about different things. And then she told me about her daughter's outlook and developed SAFE. And so we started discussing that and how women have come along to be more empowered after getting out of different situations. And she let me know about the awards dinner, and the first one I went to and saw Betty mingling with everyone. I said, well, this is a good thing. I said, I can really support this because that concerns all women. And Betty was a definite advocate for SAFE. And with Betty gone, I still support SAFE. Because we started out as friends, we'll stay friends. And I support her daughters. Thank you.
1 year ago, at this very important event, SAFE's annual appreciation event, this is our signature fundraiser that we hold every year. And every year, my mother was a part of it. Just a year ago at this event, we were running late, as usual, to the event. I had did some last minute promotion at a radio show, and I was trying to navigate her wheelchair that she had only been confined to for about a year or so prior to that. And I was trying to navigate it into the Detroit Historical Museum, and people were looking for her and were greeting her, and we're so happy to see her there. And she insisted on sitting at the reception table so that she could greet every single person that came in through that event. Everyone made adjustments to help her to be able to sit there in her chair. And she treated everyone like nothing was wrong with her at all. That was just the kind of person that my mother was. To talk about Betty Jean Johnson Risker, you would have to talk about the same adjectives that everyone would say. She was wonderful, she was God-fearing, she was caring, she was the most gracious, giving person that you would ever know. She would take time for anyone that she thought was in distress, that needed help. And it was her life mission to help other people to grow and to flourish. I cannot believe that in our 8th year that her physical being is not here. But we've gathered together a group of awesome people, just a sample of the people whose lives that she touched through her work at SAFE. My mother was also a board member. My mother was a member of SAFE's executive board of directors. I remember it like it was yesterday when God told me to start this organization. And I called a group of people, not my best friends, but according to what I learned about nonprofit management, I called a bunch of people that had the skills that were necessary to start a nonprofit organization, and my mother was one of them. through the years, I will often say, you know, the only reason why you made the board of directors is because of your experience as a human resource manager. The first few years she laughed, and then eventually she saw that I was very serious in saying that. Her many, many years of professional experience is what helped me to help grow SAFE. She was really the behind-the-scenes co-founder, the driving force, the person who helped with all the administrative needs, who helped with making phone calls to the clients to encourage them to come to the events, to call people to attend our big Health and Wealth Expo. My mother even called people when she was in a nursing home, and people didn't even know that. She called to encourage survivors of domestic violence to come for our Open for Business conference so they could learn to be entrepreneurs. I sent the email to the board of directors letting them know that that's what she was doing, that's something that she insisted on doing. She said she's there, she wasn't doing anything but mending, and that she wanted to make the phone calls and she still wanted to be involved, and it was very important to her that she made a contribution. That was just a sample of what she did for Sisters Acquiring Financial Empowerment. I could actually go back to 1998 when I was injured and assaulted by my boyfriend of 7.5 years, and I was laying on a stretcher at Detroit Receiving Hospital, and my mother had got a phone call to that I was in the hospital, and she didn't get any other information. She didn't know if I was alive or if I was dead. My mother rushed to my side. She stayed with me. She did not leave me. When I was in the hospital, when I got surgery, when I mended, she was there. I would look over and I would see her asleep in a chair. That's how wonderful of a mother and a person she is. When I started the organization, she didn't understand a lot about the dynamics of power and control and what is domestic violence and what does it mean. That incident happened to me in 1998. SAFE didn't start till 2006. We did a lot in those years in between that. Mostly we moved forward with our lives, and we tried to mend and grow. And the domestic violence wasn't a predominant place in our lives. So now in 2006, I'm calling these people together, including my mother, in the living room of my home. And I'm saying, this is what happened to me, and this is a plan that can help other women to avoid what I've been through, or to recover from it if they have. And she just, I'm gonna support you wholeheartedly. She didn't understand the vision. She didn't understand how far SAFE would go. No one did. And I understood that. But I just needed their support, and they gave it to me. And my mother was right there the whole time doing everything she could. And people, you know, you would never know that, you know, my mother, she was on a fixed income, but she contributed her finances, what she had. She watched my girls for me, which allowed me to then go out nationally and speak and train. She supported us on every level. She looked at us as a team. So people say now, I'm not used to seeing you without your mother. It is definitely a challenge moving forward without a member of your team physically there. I do know that her spiritual presence is with me and guiding me and protecting me. I know that, but it's still hard not having her physically there. There was definitely a mutual respect between my mother and I. I respected her and all of her gifts, and she respected me and wanted to support SAFE. And specifically, as she, in the beginning, went to different trainings and learned more about domestic violence and the power and control cycle, she was more involved and more hands-on with the training and with working with the survivors of domestic violence, the participants that we service. In doing that, we became even closer, if that was even possible. We became even closer because we talked all the time, professionally and personally. And sometimes as mother and daughters do, we even had some, you know, where I say, okay, I have on my executive director hat now, Ma, you know. and we just worked through it. But it definitely enhanced the organization with her being there. With her not here now, and with her transition to be with the Lord in November of 2013, I was left in a very empty place. And I believe that she interceded on my behalf to help me to get stronger and to realize that this work is still needed and that she's still proud of me and still wants it to continue.
I first met Ms. Risker when I came to SAFE as a volunteer, and I enjoyed my time with her. She was a real nice lady. She always gave love, encouragement. She just was a neat lady. I most remember at the community fairs that SAFE gave, that she was always there. She was always hardworking. She encouraged me. She always had hugs and kisses for me. It was just an enjoyment just to see her and know that she was going to be there. You look for her because she always was going to give you a word of encouragement or give you some love. So it's an honor to honor her today. It's an honor to honor her. We're supposed to give honor to whom honor is due, and she's due her honor. And I thank you for this opportunity just to give some expressions of love for her and her family. SAFE is a wonderful organization. I enjoyed all my time that I spent with Ms. Risker as well as Kaylin. They do some wonderful things, and I look forward to working with them in the future.
Hi, my name is Darlene Dixon, and I attend Detroit Road Outreach Church. That's where I met Betty Risker. She had come to a prayer breakfast we were having, and she sat down at the table with us, and she talked nonstop about Kaylin Risker and SAFE. By the time she left our little gathering, I knew all about her. I'm like, who is this Kaylin person, and what is SAFE all about? And Betty, of course, explained all of it to me. She was very serious, very proud of the work. I knew about Mayette and the girls, because Betty liked to talk, and I enjoyed talking with Betty. Visited her a lot as she went through her illness and that, and she was always concerned, first of all, about what was happening with Kaylin and with SAFE. So Betty was just a great trooper. I didn't realize that she was so intricately involved, except by the fact that she always had all the details right at hand. She knew about the programs they were offering, about the events that were upcoming. She invited everybody, and she was very hands-on with it. So I just appreciated that about her. Even in her weakest time and her lowest moments, she was still dedicated to SAFE and concerned that the programs would still go on even without her input. So she was just a great spirit. I think of her and it makes me smile just thinking about her, because she had such a joyful spirit and was very completely dedicated to her family and to the SAFE organization. And so rest in paradise, Betty, and the work is still going on. If I could tell her anything, that would be it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Shacrise Miles of Transition 123, and I'm here just to give a caption on Mama Risker, which is Miss Betty Risker. It's just an honor today to speak on her behalf. I have been knowing Kaylin since about maybe 8 to 10 years, and she has always been a delight for me. And once she found out that I was a hairdresser, that just took it over, because since then she wanted me to do her hair, and she always, she's a glamour girl, so she was always concerned with what can I do with my hair, how can my hair be the best for the event, and different things of that nature. And I just wanted to speak out today because she has been such an honor to SAFE. She's a great supporter to her daughter. She always kept everything in order, and she never missed the opportunity to make phone calls and find people to make phone calls and to be right there at Caitlin's disposal. So I'm just honored today just to give my love and my compassion to the family and to Safe, and wishing Safe the best. And I know she's smiling in heaven on the good things that Caitlin is doing and going to continue to do in Detroit and all over the world. So I love the family. I love Safe. I'll be here to the end. So I love you guys. Have a wonderful day.
Greetings. I'm really pleased to be here today and honored to be able to speak about my experiences with Betty Risker. She was such a fabulous woman, and I completely understand. Like, I met Kaylin first when I came to Safe, and then when I meet her mother, I see how much of a wonderful influence and where Kaylin got a lot of her amazing abilities was from her mother. Her mother reminds me of my own grandmother. Like, even after my grandmother passed, is when I met her. And as I was working on my speech, as we were having conversations, she was always so encouraging and such a listener and an inspiration to me, because it makes me want to be that at some point in my life, like to be able to be that person who's always encouraging everyone and being like a matronly, loving person in people's lives.
I really try to live my life with no regrets, and especially regrets in regards to a loved one and caring for a loved one. I don't want that on my head that I didn't care for them or love them or make sure that their needs were met. I now have the biggest regret in my whole life. Last year, we did several awards at the 7th annual appreciation fundraising event, and I chose to give an award to my mother in the 8th year. I said, well, I have some pretty heavy awards this year. I'll do something really special for my mom on the 8th year. One of my mother's, my mother had a lot of sayings, and if you talk to me long enough, I'll probably say, my mother used to say, and it'll be some saying, or my dad used to say, he has some sayings too. And one saying that she would say, it was certain life lessons that she wanted to make sure that she had instilled in us. And one was that you give roses to the living. You don't wait. You don't wait for a person to have their homegoing service before you present them with roses and you talk about and you appreciate them. And that's really because of her life lessons and her teachings and what she instilled in me as a woman is where the thought and how the appreciation event came to be. It was our way of appreciating those that had invested in this organization, whether it was the participants who invested their time and trusted us to help them to the best of our capability, to our sponsors, to our volunteers, to everyone who touched the organization, that we wanted to say thank you and we appreciate you. My biggest regret is that I didn't get a chance to formally say thank you to my mother with an award. And she had said to my daughter, she said, everybody in the family got an award but me. So I was really planning on something really, really special for her this year. And that's my biggest regret, is that she's not physically here to receive it. I know what you'll say, that she's here spiritually, and I know that she is. It doesn't stop me from hurting about that. So this year, in honor of my mother, I would like to give everyone here a rose. You are appreciated. I also would like to give my mother her award. My mother is the recipient of the 2014 8th Annual Appreciation Fundraising Events Legacy Award for her legacy and her impact to sisters acquiring financial empowerment. I would like to present this award to Betty J. Risker. If her granddaughters, Aryn Smith and Toni Risker, would please come forward to receive this award.